So now ang discussion natin will be all about connections. We have two types of connection. The first one is yung bolted, and second one, for our module 8, we have the welded connections. So importante na ma-design natin ng tama yung connections, no? So it's an important part of the steel design process. However, oftentimes ito naman yung least understood part of designing, no? Because we have a lot of formulas and we have different types of connections, bolts, and also the welds, different types of welds. Okay, so we can consider this as the weakest part of the structure. Pag hindi natin na-design ng maayos yung mga connections, kahit na-design natin ng maayos yung beam and column, then there's still a possibility na mag-collapse yung structure natin. So dapat din-design natin siya ng tama, and also dapat skilled din yung mag-install ng mga bolts or ng welds dun sa connection part natin. So it's very important na ma-design natin ng tama yung connection, and also follow the standards when it comes to installation of different types of connections. Okay, so as you can see here in this slide, nandito yung types ng bolted connections. So different types of bolted connections. So for this one, ito yung tinatawag nating bolted connection. So nagko-connect siya ng column, splice column. Yung ito naman, ito yung rivet connection. Ito yung makikita natin sa mga lumang steel structure. Obsolete na yung bolted kasi yung riveted, kasi aside from mahirap siya ma-install, no, mas malaki din yung chance niya for failure na hindi ganong connected kasi isang part lang, ito isang head lang, unlike dun sa mga bolts na meron siyang mga threads na mas lalong pwedeng double heads or pwedeng isa, and then connected siya ng maayos because of the threads or either a friction because of the slip critical connection. And also yung weld, ito yung pinaka-recommended for most of the connections, no? So yun yung different type of connections natin. But ang focus natin for solving problems in principles of steel design will be simple connections, because we also have the moment type connections, shear and moment type connections. So but we also have the eccentric, simple connection ba din naman yung eccentric, but there's a lot of consideration na meron tayong moment. But when it comes to simple connections, mostly we have the forces, shear forces, and then apply to the center of the bolts. The most common type of simple connection is the simple bolted connections. So advantages nito is easy method for connecting members on site. In field, bolting is cheaper. Mas preferred siya because it is more mas cheaper siya compared dun sa welding. Different types of bolted connection. We have the shear connection. It can be a single angle, double angle, shear tab or plate. So yung plate natin, ginawa natin siya as shear connector. Can also be an end plate, a seated angle, so angle bar yan. And then what more? So moment connection, involved na dito yung part ng it's either a plate, no, na magre-resist bolts and plate assembly na magre-resist ng moment. Ito yung magre-resist ng moment kasi pag kinonvert natin yan sa force, yung isang part ay magiging compression, yung isa ay tensile. So ganun natin i-idealize yung moment para mapasa natin dun sa bolts. And then ito, since kung meron tayong it's an end connection, of course meron diyang shear sa part na yan. So yung isang part dito, yung mag-resist ng shear, and then to transfer niya dun sa column member natin. So brace truss mas complex, no? So multiple na yan, multiple moment. Aside from the shear force, the direct shear, yung moments kailangan natin consider, and there's a lot of member connected to a joint. So we have to analyze that as well to consider the effects of those members applied to the joint. It's either in consideration natin will be pure shear for this part, mas significant yung shear, but for the braces, significant na yung mga flexure natin. So yan yung mga framing natin. So for our frame, may moment yan and also may shear din. So we can also see the bolted connection into our brace, so bracing system. Kaya madami yung mga bolts, ibig sabihin sobrang laki ng force na nire-resist nila. So kailangan natin ng madaming bolts or mas larger yung sizes ng mga bolts natin if malaki yung axial force kasi magkakaroon dito ng actual tensile stress. So, tensile force. So, pag na-distribute natin yan and makonect natin itong mga members na to, so, madaming bolts yung kailangan para ma-resist yung tensile force na yan. Okay, so we also have the truss connection and also a splicing. No, so kapag meron tayong splice, yung isang part lang yung i-consider natin. So we need to design this one, and also the bottom part of this bolts. No? So, pero yung force yan, kung meron tayong moment, so pwede natin i-convert yung moment yan into force. So, maghahatian sila. Meron sa taas na tensile force and meron dito sa baba. So, ganun lang natin i-idealize yung mga splicing connection. Half-half lang ng force. So, ang focus natin muna for Module 7 is bolted connection. Pero mas isi-simplify pa natin yon. Kasi we have two types of bolted connections. Before, ini-include ko pa yung slip critical. Pag sinabi natin slip critical, involved na yung friction para mas makonect natin yung mga bolts dun sa mga plates kung saan nakakonect yung mga bolts. But the common type is yung bearing type na bolted connection. Ito yung focus natin. So, although sinabi natin bearing type, meron din siyang dalawang category pa. So, we also have the snug tighten and fully tension bearing type. Ano ba yung kaibahan ng dalawa? So, for the snug tighten bearing type, the bolts are tightened to a snug tight condition and there's a friction between connected part. And the friction that connected is not considered pag snug tighten bearing type. Magkakaiba yung mga capacity natin in consideration, no? For different types of bearing type connection. For this one, bolts are fully tensioned to ensure a secure connection. Fully tensioned. Ito yung mas maganda, no? But friction is still not primary force kasi nga yung pag merong friction, under na siya ng slip critical connections. So, different types ng configuration, kung paano natin kinonect yung mga bearing bolts. The first, meron tayong lap joint. Commonly, pag lap joint, pinagpatong lang natin yan na dalawang plates. Hindi lang plates na pwedeng yung member mismo, thickness ng web, or yung gasket plate natin. So, lap joint, dalawang magkapatong lang yan na member thickness or plates. So, single shear lang yun. Pero yung butt joint natin, pwedeng maging single shear or double shear. Ito yung, pag butt joint naman, ito na yung may patong. No? So, pag hinila natin, meron tayong tensile force. So, yung area na mag-shear, dalawang part. So, double shear na siya. So, merong butt joint for single shear and merong butt joint for double shear. Ito, butt joint din siya, pero single shear lang. Basta meron tayong splice na. Tapos maglalagay tayo ng another plate para makonect natin yung dalawang plates na magkahiwalay. So, still a butt joint, pero single shear lang to. Isang part lang ng bolt yung mag-shear. Pero pag double cover butt joint, meron dito masisira yung part na yan, and meron din dito sa part na to. So, yun yung double shear effect. You're already familiar with this from your mechanics kasi yun yung sinosolve natin. You're already familiar with double shear and also for single shear. So, we have also different types of connection. Tapos na tayo sa lap joint, butt joint, and ito simple connections lang. There's the possibility na magkaroon ng shear and then tensile force kahit butt joint sila. Depende dun sa kung saan natin in-apply yung load. But if yung loads natin apply dun sa center and then sa plates natin mismo, so simple lang yung connection. Direct shear lang yung effect and also yung isa pang limit states na kailangan natin consider. Pero pag meron tayong eccentric, so ito yung center niya, aside from the shear force, magkakaroon din tayo ng torsion. No, so yung stresses ng bawat bolts natin will now vary. We have different types of connections as well. Ito yung tension connection, so meron na siyang uplift, and this one combined shear. No, magkakaroon tayo ng, since meron tayong inclined angle, pag kailangan natin siyang i-convert, no, into its components. So yung components niya, magkakaroon ng tensile and magkakaroon siya ng direct shear. Yun yung effect niya dun sa mga bolts. So combine yung effect niya. So how do we idealize yung mga connections natin for bolts if given kayo ng problem na ganito, which is ito yung common natin, especially sa mga tension members. So if yung loads natin ay apply dun sa center ng bolt group, lahat ng mga bolts natin ay makakatanggap ng equal force. So since yung force na yun ay parallel dun sa area ng bolts, so yung effect niya ay shear stress. So equal lang yung matatanggap nilang stresses since na-applied sa center yung force. So, ito yung pinaka-common and most simple. Pag sinabi natin in plane, ibig sabihin applied natin siya along the plane. So, yung plane natin dito is XY lang. So, nandun naman nakalagay yung plates natin, XY, sa plane na yun. Pag in plane load pa din, sa XY applied yung load, pero hindi na siya applied, no? Hindi siya tatama dun sa center ng bolt group natin. So, ano yung magiging effect? Pag merong ganyan, so, ito yung center of bolt natin and ito yung force. So, magkakaroon siya ng eccentricity. So, yung impact, kailangan natin dalhin yung force na to papunta dun sa centroid. So, aside from the direct force, meron din tayong, we also have the torsional effect, no? So, kailangan natin yan i-consider both, no? Aside from the direct shear, so, usually, dinedesignate natin siya, nililabelan natin siya ng PD, na yun yung stresses niya. So, from the direct shear over yung number of bolts, and then yung torsional effect. So, yung torsional effect, kailangan na natin i-consider yung polar moment of inertia ng bawat bolts, and then yung moment na ma-generate because of the eccentricity applied when we have a certain distance, no, yung load natin applied at a certain distance from the center of the bolt group. So, the moment, or usually P times E, and then yung distance ng bawat bolt. So, magkakaiba na ngayon yung matatanggap na stresses. So, hindi na siya uniform all throughout for the bolts. Usually, kapag yung pinakamalayo from the center, yun yung makakatanggap ng most yung stresses. Usually, yun yung most stress. But take note of the direction of the components as well. Kasi meron tayong torsional stress and meron tayong direct shear. Pag yung components na yun ay additive, so ibig sabihin, mas malaki din yung value na makukuha. Pero kapag nagkokontrahan sila, meron kayong upward Y component and downward Y component. So, opposing sila. And then, ang effect nun, magsusubtract tayo ng value. So, mas nadidiminish yung makukuha ninyong resultant value pag pinag-compute na natin, no, yung resultant. Kasi kukunin natin yung resulting stress from both of these. So, PD squared plus PT squared. So, yun yung effect, no. In plane pa din siya, pero eccentric. Pag hindi naka-apply sa center ng bolt groups. Ito naman, we have this out of plane. So, yung, hindi na yung view natin na XY, kasi yung XY ganyan yung plan view natin. Pag usually, pag ganito, side view na, and then yung force natin applied na dun perpendicular sa plane natin. So, pag in plane kasi, pag nasa XY lang. So, pag perpendicular na siya or normal, parang imagine nyo na lang yung sa papel, perpendicular na siya dun sa papel. So, yun yung tinatawag natin out of plane. Wala na siya dun sa typical XY plane natin. So, if we have out of plane, so perpendicular na siya, yung loads na applied sa bolts perpendicular. So, although, kahit applied siya dun sa center ng bolt group natin, pag applied siya sa center ng bolt group, hindi magkakaroon ng flexural effect. Pero, ang meron dito, no, hindi na siya shear. Kasi yung force na yon perpendicular na siya dun sa area ng bolts. So, it's anong type ng force stress na siya. So, since yung force natin ay perpendicular na doon, normal. So, it's a tensile stress na siya. So, isang force lang yung stress type yung i-consider natin since applied naman siya sa center. Unlike this one, if meron again eccentric, pero out of plane pa din yung force natin, and then there's a eccentricity, so kailangan natin yan dalhin dito. Meron tayong direct tensile force, and then yung effect ng moment. So, yung effect ng moment, matatransfer dito sa bolts. So, aside from the direct shear, no, ito, indirect, direct tensile stress, hindi wala siya shear. So, the direct tensile stress, and then ito, flexural effect, no. So, same lang sa mga beam natin, na magkakaroon ng, depende sa orientation ng load natin, ng moment, kung ano yung configuration niya. So, kapag ganito, yung flexure natin, so, yung resistance niya dapat opposite, no, yung resistance ng ating mga bolts. So, yung resistance ng bolt natin, ito, tensile siya. So, yung part na to ay same lang yung direction ng na-draw ko. So, dapat opposing na siya. So, yung effect, ito. So, yung resistance natin, kasi, di ba tama? Yung force applied natin is upward. So, yung resistance ng bolts natin ay downwards na ngayon. And then, for the moment, since magiging counterclockwise yung moment, so dapat yung resistance natin ay clockwise. So, yung effect niyan is papalayo, nandito yung tail ng moment natin. So, tension yun. Pero pag yung arrow ay tumututok dun sa bolt, compressive yung effect niya. So, yung stresses natin nakadepende sa kung gaano din kalayo sa centroid. So, same lang yung formula for the flexural stress na kasi siya, hindi na siya torsion. No, pag torsion, in plane. Pero pag out of plane stresses, flexure na siya. So, yung formula natin is same pa din. P times E, which refers to the moment and kung gaano kalayo from the centroid ng bolt group. And yung formula natin is I na siya. Pero almost same lang din naman siya sa J. Pero yung I natin nakadepende kung ano yung axis ng flexure. No, so kung ibig sabihin yung moment natin is, kung gagawin natin to, kunin natin yung view nito, top view. So top view niyan, kung ito yung consider nating X, so ibig sabihin nandito applied yung moment. Excuse. So, yung moment, kailangan natin consider is yung perpendicular distance from the axis in consideration. So, parang yung width lang no, ng mga beams natin. Since IX, yung moment natin nandito, so, kailangan natin consider yung perpendicular distance, yung half ng depth ng beam natin. Ganun din dito. Ito na yung kailangan natin consider na mga distance. So, if given yung spacing na yan, yan yung consider natin. And pag-add lang natin siya. Usually, yung mga stresses na nakuha natin dito ay per bolt, ganun, kilonewton. Hindi talaga siya actual na MPa. Pero depende. If you have to consider the area, then pwede natin makuha yung actual shear stresses or the stresses experienced by the bolt. For this one, hindi na siya vertical load. Meron din naman tayong horizontal load, pero applied at a certain distance din. So, meron tayong eccentricity. Ganun din, magkakos siya ng flexural. No? So, it's either a tensile force here and a compressive force here. Pero yung critical for this one is yung O natin. No? Hugutin yung bolts natin from the connecting compared dun sa kung sinisiksik because of the compressive force. And aside from that, yung direct shear natin, magkakaroon ng effect pa din dun sa bolts. But tatawagin na natin tong combined. No? Kasi meron na siyang tension and meron din siyang shear. Ganun din, kapag meron tayong incline, we also have a tensile force and a shear force. So, what are the limit states for a bolted connection? Shear and tension kapag merong flexure and combination ng shear and tension for bolts. However, meron tayong additional considering the bolt and then the connecting member stresses around the circumference of the bolt. Yun yung tinatawag nating bearing. No? So, yung contact area ng bolts natin, magkakaroon tayo ng bearing stresses. So, we have this shear failure, very common. So, ito yung direct shear, yung heads ng bolts or body ng bolts yung matatanggal, either the threads. If yung bearing natin, malakas yung bolts ninyo, hindi nasira, pero mahina yung plates natin, since yung consideration natin sa formula for bearing is FU. So, ibig sabihin, pag mahina yung FU ninyo, it will have a big chance na mag-fail siya due to bearing. So, yung effect niya is tear out or deformation around the bolt. So, kapag gano'n na yung bolts natin ay malakas, pero yung circumference, yung stresses, yung plates natin around that, humina na siya, lalaki yung part na yon. So, eventually, masisira pa din yung assembly natin kasi lumaki na, no? So, different types of bolts. Very common, 307, 325, 490. So, magkakaiba yung magiging shear. Kasi bawat bolt, meron yan shear capacity and tensile capacity. Mamaya, I'll show you the table for the different values of the shear stress. So, different types of bolts. You can read this, but we can expound this later na sa S2. But our focus now, okay, wait lang. Ito yung tinatawag nating threads. Ito yung threads, no? Kapag nandito yung connecting member natin, ito yung may chance na mag-fail. Ganyan yung connection, and then yung center, ito yung mga plates natin. Pag ganyan yung configuration, ito yung masisira, no? So, yun yung tinatawag nating threaded. Threaded part yung masisira. Pero pag dito natin siya nilagay, yung mga connection natin, and dito na install yung bolts natin. So, unthreaded yung part na yan. So, magiging magkaiba din yung capacity niya kapag ito yung nilagay natin doon sa center, which is ito. Yan. Kapag yung part na yan is threaded, alin sa tingin niyo yung mas maging critical? So, kapag threaded, mas lumiliit na yung area. Pero kapag unthreaded, yung buong diameter ng bolts yung consider natin. Hindi yung diameter ng head yung i-consider, it's the diameter of the bolts. So, kung mapapansin niyo na kapag ito yung nakakonect doon, may possible na masira, connected doon sa plate natin, mas maliit yung magiging shear capacity niya. So, let's see the table. So, we have the shear force and ganito yung transfer mechanism niya. Bolt bearing, dalawa yung types natin. Kailangan natin i-check. Yung bolt tear out, nakabase yun sa spacing natin dito. So, we need to consider solve for the spacing between this bolt and especially kapag located siya, magkaiba kasi yung magiging spacing na LE, na LC na kailangan natin consider kapag nasa edge. So, it's important din na kailangan i-design natin appropriately yung mga spacing natin kasi dun nakabase yung capacity ng bolts natin against tear out. Pag hole deformation naman, ang gagamitin natin is the original diameter of the bolts. No, kasi 'di ba madami tayong diameter na kino-consider, diameter effective of the holes. Yung effective diameter of the holes, dito natin siya gagamitin sa bolt tear out, pero yung pag hole ovalization, yung original diameter ng bolt yung i-consider natin. So lumuwag lang. So bolt bearing similar to fracture, black shear. Bolt hole ovalization similar to yielding. Okay, so what's the value of the capacity? Ito yung gagamitin natin capacity for bearing. So, dun tayo sa summarized. So, ito yung magiging different values. But you have to check, double check kung ano yung values kasi magkaiba siya sa AISC. So, let's have this. For A307 bolts, yung FNT niya, usually given to sa problem, 310 tensile. Yung shear, 165. 325, meron tayong 325, pero yung isa, when threads are not excluded. Ano ibig sabihin ng when threads are not excluded? So, double negative, ibig sabihin included, A325N. So, kasamang masisira yung may threaded part. Pag when threads are excluded, so excluded, may designation, nilalagay natin siya ng designation na X. So, kapag excluded, ibig sabihin yung buong area na yun, yung nakalagay dun sa connecting members natin. So, kung mapapansin niyo, yan. So, mas mataas yung shear capacity kapag ang nakalagay doon sa critical part for shearing is yung excluded. Ibig sabihin yung buo, hindi yung threaded. So, pero kapag threaded, since reduce na yung area, mas mababa yung shear capacity niya. So, mas ideal pala na dapat yung pag nag-install tayo ng bolts, yung unthreaded or excluded yung threads, dapat masakto natin doon yung part na yun kasi yun yung masisira. So mas malaki yung capacity nun kapag unthreaded siya or A325X, lahat ng mga excluded, yun yung mas mataas for shear. No, pero nagre-require yun ng mas careful na pag-install. So kailangan aware yung mag-install ng bolts na dapat yun yung part ng bolts natin na nakalagay doon sa kung saan yung interface ng connecting members natin. So it's 0.4, no? 0.4. Pag all other types ng bolts, hindi yung common bolts, basta mas mataas yung value kapag X, no? Yung unthreaded. 0.5. So mas mataas yan ng 0.1 FU compared dun sa included yung threaded parts. So we also have to consider the clear spacing. Given tayo ng spacing, pero ang kailangan natin i-check, consider for bolt tear out is yung clear spacing. So kapag center to center spacing, dalawang bolts, ang LC1 natin will be the difference between the spacing and half of this bolt. No? Effective yung kailangan natin gamitin, D/2, so bali isang buo lang din. LC1 is equal to spacing minus DE. However, pag nasa edge siya, edge na to, yung LE na yan, minus half na lang na to. Kasi wala naman na siyang kataming volts dyan. So, DE/2 na lang. Again, so for the bearing capacity, dalawa na yun. Kasi pwedeng for bearing between bolt bearing or deformation or tear out, pwede na natin i-shortcut no, kung ano yung mas critical, minimum between the two. Kasi ito is for tear out, ito naman is for the hole deformation. So, whichever is the smaller between the two, kasi madami tayong kailangan i-consider, yun na yung gagamitin natin for the design. Ganun naman tayo lagi, no? Yung smaller load, yung goal natin. Okay, so if hindi given yung spacing ng bolts, so you can estimate this, no? 3 times diameter of the bolts. If given yung diameter ng bolts and hindi provided yung center to center spacing, you can use this assumption. So for maximum, bawal lang tayong mag-exceed dito. It's either the minimum between 14T or 7 inches. So this is equivalent to 180 mm for SI. But for edge distance, ito yung mga minimum edge distance. If we're using an M16 bolt, so at sheared edges, ito yung gagamitin natin, 28 mm. So we can use higher value than that. And the maximum for edge is 12T. Kung unlike dun sa center to center na 14T, but this one, maximum natin for edge is 12T. Now for the capacity of our bolts, same lang yung formula natin. Alam na natin yung shear. Basta given, mag-refer lang tayo dun sa table. Sinabi sa problem na A307, yung tensile stress ng bolts na yun is 310. Predefined na yun. 310 megapascal. So, hindi FY, FU ng plate yung ginagamit. Pero pag sinabi sa problem na 836, it refer to the plates, no? Tensile plate na gagamitin. So, FY, FU. Gagamitin natin to for the gilding, for the gross, for the rupture, and ito, yung FU, ito yung ginagamit natin for bearing. No? So, yung bearing natin na tear out and deformation, FU yung gagamitin. But for the bolt itself, either tension or shear, will be using yung property ng bolts. So, A30, ano ba yung mga typical naming natin? So, magkaiba yun, A307, A325, iba siya dun sa A36. Sa mga steel plates yon. Pero sa bolts, may sarili din siyang designation and meron din siyang stress na na-determine because of the testing. Yun yung commercial sizes ng, or capacity, commercial strength ng mga bolts. So, FNT, dapat given niya sa problem. FNB, so stress times area, magkakaroon tayo ng force. Nominal pa lang yan. Para makuha natin ulit yung design capacity for due to the bolt, tensile and shear strength, no? So, we have to use this reduction factor and factor of safety. And pag meron tayong combined, kailangan natin kunin yung modified, no? So, yung modified natin, nominal stress pa lang to. So, yung nominal stress is 1.3 FNT minus FB. So, para makuha natin yung force, multiply na lang natin ng area. So, kailangan natin i-modify. Hindi na FNT yung gagamitin. So, pag combine, kailangan natin siyang i-modify using this formula. So, para makuha natin yung ultimate, kailangan natin siyang mag-multiply pa ng phi. So, bukod sa 1.3 FNT. Again, so naulit lang yung formula for bolt bearing. Yung focus lang natin dito is yung part A from NCP, not this one. No, although, if you want to study more, if meron pa ibang details na binigay dun sa problem, then you can use this different types of provision. Okay, so let's start solving problem. Okay, so let's try this one. Given tayo ng connection shown in the figure uses a 20 mm and A325 X bolts. So take note na gagamitin ay A325 and then meron siyang X dun sa naming. So the tension member is A36 steel and gusset plate is A572 steel. So we need to determine the design and allowable strength of the connection considering yielding and rupture of tension member. So we are going back to our lecture 2, which is tensile member, tension member. And we also need to consider now the shear on bolts. So aside from the shear on bolts, we also have to consider the bearing on the plates. So we have yung shear on bolts natin, yun lang i-consider kasi wala naman siyang tension. And we assume na applied sa center ng bolt group natin yung force. Also given din yung mga thickness ng mga plates. So, the main tensile member is 12 mm plate, and yung gusset plate natin has a 9 mm no, thickness. And provided na din po yung mga spacing. So, yung edge natin is 37.5 and we also have 75 mm. We also have different spacing. So, gawin ko lang tong 32.5, hindi na siya makita. You can almost see the values for the spacing, and the center has a 75 mm and the other edge has a 37.5 mm, and also listed down the values of the steel properties now for the tensile members and also the gusset plate. Now, if we try to look at the table regarding the capacity for our bolt, which is yung bolt na gagamitin ay A325X. If we're going to refer to the table from NCP, the tensile capacity or FNT, ito yung tension natin. So it has a 620 megapascal, and the shear stress FNB, if it is shear, so we have to use the designation or subscript of V now if we refer to a shear stress. So it has a 457 MPa. Okay, so our solution, we need to go back to the tensile capacity. So the solution for this one, so we start with yielding, of course, no, for our tension member, and also, of course, yun din yung nire-require ng question. So we have to solve it appropriately, and also we just follow the process. Usually yung mga problems naman natin dito is just procedural, so we just have to follow the process para sa inyo din na hindi tayo malos no sa pag-solve. Ganun din kapag nag-i-exam tayo. So nasa process, tamang process lang. I know you're already familiar with that sa mga previous exams ninyo, but we also have to follow the same principle all throughout for most of your design subjects. Okay, so we start with yielding. So for yielding, yung formula natin dyan, we start with nominal. Wala muna mga reduction factor because we need to solve for both design philosophies, LFD and ASD. So for yielding, we have PN. So this is just FYAG, right? No, so this is FYAG. We already know the yielding. So 248. So we start with the gusset, the tensile, no, tension member. So, bakit na-mention ko din yung gusset plate? Is it because, this is because yung thickness, no? Mamaya, kailangan natin i-consider. But for the tension member, the yielding, and the rupture, hindi na natin kailangan i-consider yung gusset plate. Kahit 9 mm pa siya. Kasi yung area niya ay varying. Mahirap makuha kung ano yung maging area gross niyan. And of course, kung ano yung i-consider natin for rupture. Even though we need to deduct the diameter, effective diameter of the bolts is varying yung ano niya, area. So, hindi constant. No? So, we neglect the assumption na mag-fail din yung gusset plate natin for yielding and rupture. So, ang critical lang na member natin is yung tension member natin against yielding and rupture because known yung area. Okay, so going back to our solution, so FYAG, ano yung AG ng tension member natin? Rectangular tension member. So, hindi provided, but if you try adding all this spacing, what do you think we'll have? No. So let's try solving this to what the width of our plate will be. So 37.5 plus 75 and another 37.5, so 150 FYAG. So 248, 150, divide natin ng 1,000. And ang makukuha natin dyan is 446.4. Correct me if I'm wrong na lang. So you have to resolve this and then approach nyo ako kung mayroong mali sa solution. So we can correct this. And now solving for the ultimate, we just multiply it by a phi value. So 0.9 ng 446.4, we obtain a value of 401.76 kilonewton. And for ASD, PN 446.4 over 1.67, So we obtain a value of 267.305 kilonewtons. Now, for rupture, since lahat ng element ng plate natin ay connected, we use a U value of 1.0. And then the FU value for our plate is 400 megapascal. And now solving for the nominal, our formula for rupture is FU/UAN. And then we already know the FU value. U is 1.0. You can also neglect that, no? And then yung ano natin, area net is 150. Yun yung total width. So dito tayo mag-cut, no? Same lang naman yan kahit dun tayo sa bolts AC. So basta magtatanggal tayo ng dalawang bolts. And then ang consideration natin again is yung effective. So original diameter ng bolts natin is 20 mm. Sinabi po sa problem. So 20 mm, less than 24 mm. So plus 4 tayo, plus 2 plus 2. So bale yung maging effective natin is 20 plus 4. Still remember that? No, so I hope you will not forget, no, the formulas, no, kahit sa board exam. But I guess pino-provide naman sa board exam kung ano yung magiging diameter of holes. But usually yung assumption ay 3 or 2. So it depends because they're still using the 2001 NCP. So going back to this, so 20 plus 4 or 24. 24 na natin agad. And then thickness. Don't forget the thickness. This is a tensile member, the main tension member. So 12 mm yung thickness niya. And then we divide it by 1,000. And then we obtain 489.6. Okay, so continuing our solution with normal process. Normal. So 0.75 ng 489. Please double check the values that I'm getting na. So using calculator, we have 367.2 kilonewton. And then for ASD, we have 489.6 over 2.0, 244.8 kilonewton. Now, we're done with the lecture 2 process or limit states, which is the rupture and then the yielding. We now move on to the focus of our module 7, the additional limit states, when we are going to consider the type of connections that we have. So for bolted connections, there's capacity in there. We have the shear force. No, shear yung effect dun sa bolts natin, but the tensile dun sa tensile member natin. Baka malito kayo, no? Yung force natin applied, tensile force siya dun sa mga plates natin sa tensile member kasi perpendicular siya dun sa area. But since yung bolts natin, yung forces natin, di-divide natin kung ilan yung number ng bolts, parallel siya dun sa area. So yung effect dun sa bolts ay shear. And ganun din yung failure ng bolts natin. So for the third limit states for this whole assembly, a tension member, but we need to consider the bolt shear. No, baka kasi ito yung mag-fail. So for bolt shear, ano yung 8325X? Meaning to say, hindi kasama yung threaded parts na matatanggal, masira. So hindi siya yung unthreaded, yung connected dun sa critical part kung saan mag-shear or masisira, mapuputol yung bolts natin. So meaning to say, mas mataas yung shear capacity niya because yung unthreaded, yung nandun sa critical part. So now we have FNV, it is provided sa code. So we use 457 MPa per bolt. Ito yung capacity ng bawat bolt. So kung ilang bolts yan, in total times 4 and then multiply it by the area, yun yung total resistance niya against the force applied. So if our force in total, yung force ng mga bolt na co-contribute ng bawat bolts natin ay mas mataas dun sa applied force natin, then it will not be the critical value kung saan ito yung magkukos ng failure for the whole assembly. Now, okay, so we have FNV 457. So what is the area of the bolts? So for the area of the bolts, this is just a circle, no? Yung diameter ng bolts. So pi over 4 and then yung diameter ng bolts. So take note of this, the original value of the diameter is what we are going to consider for bolt shear. So not the effective diameter. So baka malito pa kayo dyan. So you have to consider that for the bolt shear, you have to go back to the raw or the original diameter of the bolt. Now, solving for the nominal capacity for our bolt shear, no, so we now consider the total number of bolts for this one. So FNV AB times kung ilan yung dami ng bolts kasi lahat yun may contribution and yun yung magre-resist ng force applied natin. Overall, all in all, kapag nakuha na natin yung lahat ng mga limit states capacity, then again, we compare kung alin yung smallest between all of those limit states, and that will be the design strength of our bolt assembly, and also included na yung tension member. So, going back to our solution, so ang dami ng chinika. Okay, so we have FNV 457, and then yung AB natin, area ng bolts, already provided here, 20 squared. Ilan ba yung bolts? No, kung madami yung bolts, bilangin lang natin. I think for sure, sa part na hindi naman na kayo magkakamali. So, we have 4 over 1,000. Again, divide natin ng 1,000 para in kilonewton yung makukuha natin. So, may iba sa inyo kasi struggling pa din sa dimensional analysis. And then, of course, using your calculator, pwede din mental, kung if you're already really good in solving problems like this. So, again, since hindi tayo masyadong magaling sa matatagalan tayo sa pag-mental, then ang makukuha nating value for that equation that we're using here is 574. And then for the design strength, no, so LRFD, VPN, for bolt shear, we will use 0.75. Same lang sa rupture. So, hindi na tayo malilito dyan. 574.283. And then we obtain 430.412. And then for ASD, PN over omega, 574.283 over 2.0. Then, we come up with 287.142 kilonewton. So it's a process, same process all throughout. So you'll do this, and then by trying different problems, I know you can make your solution solving this problem fast as possible, especially when you're doing your examination. Ang goal natin is to beat the clock and then try to solve the problem as accurately as possible. Now for the fourth limit states, we have bearing. We have two types under bearing failure. Now, bearing limit states. So for bearing limit states, we have to consider the bolt tear out, which is naka-base sa spacing natin, and the hole deformation. So for this one, medyo challenging lang to because we need to analyze our bolts individually because each bolts have different contribution. No, we need to check the actual bearing failure of each bolt because iba-iba yung possibility na mag-govern for each bolt because for a one bolt, pwedeng bolt tear out yung kailangan nating gamitin, and then for the other bolts, pwedeng hole deformation yung mag-govern. So it depends on the diameter of the bolts, but I think the bolts have the same diameter, and the thickness that we're going to consider are just the same if we are considering only the tension member. But if we're dealing with the bolt tear out, no, so magkakaiba yung magiging bolt tear out capacity niya. Because say for example, for this problem, meron tayong 4 na bolts, and then given tayo ng spacing na 75 and 37.5, double check natin, baka mali. So we have here 37.5. And now, for formula for bolt tear out, we have 1.2 LC-TFU. So yung T na yun, yung LC natin ay consider naka-base sa spacing. So if interior siya, usually we designate it by LC1, but you can use different designation, LC, LC1, no? Depende sa inyo. You can use other designation. I can still understand that as long as the process is there and the values and the formulas that you are using is making sense naman sa kung ano yung given do sa problem. No, so, and then the next one, LC2, we usually use this if it is allocated at the edge. No? Yung spacing na yun is under or nasa edge of our plates. Okay, so for this one, we have LC1 and LC2. We need to solve for that value. Okay, so bakit 37.5? Ayan. So yung LC natin, pwede kasi siyang mahila, no? Pag meron tayong tensile force, dito siya mag-extend yung mga bolts na yon, sabay-sabay yan. Na worst case scenario, maabot talaga yung dulo. Sabay-sabay sila. Now, for this one, for this type of problem, we need to consider the connecting member, no, and then the connecting plate. The connected member and then the connecting member. Dalawa kasi yan, connected member and connecting member. So, we have to consider both the main tension member and then the connecting member, which is the gusset plate. Kasi magkaiba yung thickness nila. Pero kapag hindi provided yung thickness ng gusset plate, then you are going to only consider this one, the main plate. But if given sa problem yung thickness ng gusset plate, and then mas mababa pa compared dun sa thickness ng plate natin, we have to consider both. Like for this one, same dun sa prelim exam ninyo, magkaiba po yung mechanism kung paano matatanggal yung tension member natin. Pag hinila natin yung main tension member natin, dito papunta yung bolt tear out. Tama? So, ganun siya matatanggal, mahihila. Kagaya sa black shear natin, papunta siya dun. Now, ngayon, what happens if yung gusset plate naman yung i-consider natin? So, pag gusset plate kasi, ito yung kailangan natin i-consider na thickness. Yung kabilang side naman, no, ito yung kailangan natin i-consider na spacing. So, magkakaiba yung makukuha nating LC. Depende sa kung ano yung configuration natin, kung saan yung direction ng paghila. No? So, if we're considering the main plate, ito yung hila ng mga bolts natin. Ganito yung tear out niya. Pero pag if we're going to consider the gusset plate, doon naman siya papunta. No, yun yung kailangan natin i-consider na spacing. So, let's analyze both. Magkakaiba lang yung ko-consider natin na LC. So, let's consider first the bearing for our main plate. Wherein, yung LC na gagamitin natin is yung mga values at the right. I mean, the spacing at the right part of the bolt assembly. So, we have to solve for LC. And we also have the hole deformation. So, ngayon, paano yung mechanism ng hole deformation natin? Simple lang, no? Magde-deform lang yung perimeter ng mga bolts natin. Same lang yan. Kahit ano pa yung ABCD natin. Because meron designation yung mga bolts. So, we have 4 bolts and we can designate it by ABCD. Now, so, magde-deform lang yan, lalaki. I don't know if it is the loose thread na tinatawag. But hole deformation can also be referred to the bolt ovalization kasi nag-o-ovalize siya. And then the formula that we're going to use for hole deformation is 2.4, the diameter of the bolts, no? Diameter of the bolts, not the effective diameter, baka malito kayo, and thickness, and FU. Now we solve for the LC for our main plate. So what we are going to use for our main plate. So ibahin natin, no? So again, analyze natin for main plate. Paano ba siya masisira? Okay, so for our main plate, kung ganun yung hugot, dun yung matatanggal. Okay, so magkabaligtad pala, no? So, pag ganito yung hugot, sa main plate natin, papunta kasi dun yung failure. Parang kagaya dun sa black shear natin. So, dito siya mag-stretch. So, meaning to say, yung kabilang side yung kailangan natin consider LC2 and then LC1. But for the gusset plate, paano ba yung gusset plate natin? So, natanggal na yung we have the gusset plate. So, ito yung part ng gusset plate na matatanggal. If ever, no? Pero extend niya. So, dito pala, magkabaliktaran. So, yung extension ng gusset plate natin, dun sa right, pero yung sa main plate is yung sa left. Kasi ito yung matatanggal, no? So, papunta doon. So, we need to consider now Ito na yung kailangan natin i-consider na LC2 for our gasket plate and LC1. Ayan. So, mali yung una nating assumption. Dapat yung plate natin, kung ang plate natin ay matatanggal pa right, so ang kailangan natin i-consider na mga spacing is yung nasa left. But if yung gasket plate natin ay ang matatanggal is pag ganito yung resistance niya, kasi ito yung matitira, no? So, kailangan natin i-consider yung pa right side niya. So, magkaiba yung kailangan natin i-consider. So, for gasket plate, the right side ng spacing, lalong-lalo na magkaiba yung mga spacing. And then, for the main plate, yung left. Pero depende yan, class, no? Kasi pwede yung problem na ibigay sa inyo, magkabaliktad. So, opposing lang siya. So, pag main plate, ito yung spacing na gagamitin. And then, for gasket plate, yung kabilang side naman ng spacing. If magkaiba yung binigay sa inyong edge spacing. So, like for this problem, may 32.5 and then may 37.5. Hindi pa natin sure kung alin yung mas magbibigay sa atin ng smaller force. Again, so let's start with solving LC1. So, for LC1, this is just the spacing center to center minus isang diameter ng bolts kasi half nito tatanggalin. Effective. No, wag niyo kalimutan na effective yung kailangan natin i-consider. So, 24. So, we have 51 mm. And then, for LC2, yung spacing na to yung kailangan natin consider. We have 32.5 and half na lang ng diameter, effective diameter of the holes. 24. So, 20.5. And then, for the gasket plate, our LC1 will be the same. 75 minus 24, 51. But yung LC2 is the other spacing. No? Yung nasa right part, which is 37.5 minus 0.5 ng 24. Then, let me solve this one. 37.5 and then 0.5 times 24. So, we obtain 25.5. Kasi nga, yung difference ng 37 ay 5. Now, again, we can solve for the bolts. No? Bolt capacity for both tear out and hole deformation. So, magkakaiba yan, no, class. For bolts, we start with bolt A and C. A, B, C, tama. Paano yung naming natin? A, B. Ngayon, ito pa yung challenge kasi yung matatanggap na, yung area, I mean the length, LC considered by each bolt ay varying din. So, for bolts A and C, same sila ng i-consider na LC, which is yung nasa edge. No? So, for bolts A and C, yung LC2 yung gagamitin. So, tear out, start muna tayo sa tear out. Rn is equal to 1.2. So, for bolts A and C, LC2 yung gagamitin, thickness, and then FU. So, we have 1.2, and then 20.5. Thickness natin is 12 kasi yung main plate muna yung consider. Mamaya, consider din natin yung sa gasket plate. Over 400. Then, divide natin ng 1,000. So, we have 118.08 kilonewton per bolt pa lang to. No, isang bolt pa lang yan. Next, we need to consider the hole deformation. Hole deformation for both A and C will be equal to Rn 2.4 dB thickness times Fu. So, 1.2. Ngayon, yung dB na kailangan natin i-consider is yung original bolt diameter, 20. Times thickness, 12, 400 over 1,000. So, bakit naging 1.2? So, we have this 2.4. Then, we solve it. 2.4 times 20, 12 times 400 over 1,000. Now, we obtain 230.4 kilonewton per bolt. Now, for bolts B and D, for its tear out, Rn is instead of 1.2 LC2, LC1 na yung gagamitin. So, it is LC1 that we are going to use for bolts B and D. And then we have 1.2 LC1 already computed for this value, which is 51. We expect a larger value between these two. 12, 400, 1,000. Now, going back pala dito sa bolts A, B, C, we need to pick whichever is smaller between this value. Isa lang yung pwedeng mag-govern. Now, so for bolts A and C, it is the tear out that will govern because it gave us the smaller value. And then we have here for bolts B and D naman. And then solving this, 1.251 times 12, 400 over 1,000. Then we obtain 293.76 kilonewton per volt. So it is much more larger because of the spacing. Now for hole deformation, even though we will not further expand the formula, we will obtain the same value for this, which is 230.4. And now comparing these two values for bolts B and D, we have tear out and hole deformation. We need to pick again the smaller. So for bolts B and D, it is not the tear out that will govern. So it's the hole deformation because it yields us the smaller value between the two. Okay, so 230.4 is what will govern for this. Now we have to combine. Now, since per bolt yan, bibilangin natin kung ilan yung bolts yung kino-consider natin for each of the row of the bolts or the layer of the bolts, kung ilan yung bolts na yun. No, so for overall, no, yung Rn natin against bearing will be 118.08. So ilan yun? Dalawa yung bolts natin dyan, bolts A and C, which is located at the edge. So dalawa lang yun. Plus 230.4, ito yan, for bolts B and D. So dalawang bolts yun. So we just need to add all of this value. 2 plus 230.4. 696.96 kilonewton. So now we can now apply the reduction factor to obtain the LRFD values. So 0.75 din yung gagamitin for bearing. So not challenging anymore kasi almost same lang yung mga reduction factor. And of course, gagamitin kayo ng NECP for your exam. So Rn over phi 696.96, so 0.75 yung ginamit sa LRFD, 2.0 is what we're going to use for ASD. So 0.7, mahaba lang yung process ng pag-solve, no, for connections. May additional. Then for tama ba? Pa-double check na. So because I'm trying to solve it. As well. So ayan, 696.6 over 2. Pag sinolve natin to, mag-consume tayo ng habang time. But we will try to solve some more problems tomorrow. So we obtained 348.3. Again, but aside from that, we also need to check for the gasket plate part, no? Yung gasket plate part yung mag-govern. So for gasket plate, ang mababago lang is thickness and yung mga LC na gagamitin. So there's a possibility na ito yung mag-govern because of its smaller thickness. Again, so for bolts, so magkaiba na ngayon. For gasket plate, A, B, C, D. So for A, B, ang gagamitin na natin is yung interior. So magkaiba na sila. So mali tayo ng naming or designation. This one will be A, B, C, D. So for bolts A and C, yung LC na gagamitin natin is ito na, no? Yung 51 mm, which is yun yung ginamit natin for bolts B and D for referring to the main plate. Magkaiba lang sila ng thickness. So we'll be using this for the tear out. So tear out, kahit ratio proportion na lang para mas mabilis. So 9 over 12. Kasi same lang yung spacing. 76, 9 over 12. Yan, mas mababa na. From 293, naging 220 na lang, 0.32 kN per volts. And then for this one is for tear out and bolt deformation or ovalization. Pwede nyo tawagin kahit alin dyan. So BD, pwedeng ratio proportion na lang to. 230.4 and then 9 over 12. Tatanggalin lang natin yung pagka 12 mm. So we obtain 172.8, and this is much smaller. And then between these two, for bolts A and C, you have to pick the smaller. Now for bolts B and D. So tear out RN will be using different spacing, which is 25.5, which is much larger than 20.5 that we used originally for the tension member, for the bolts under the tension member. So medyo baka malito kayo because we have a lot of consideration. Kahit simple lang yung kinukonsider nating system, no? It's just a gasket plate and a tension member. Hindi pa to yung complicated na mga connections. But the process is already tedious, no? As you can see here. But ganun nga yung mga designer. If you really want to become a structural design engineer, you have to know the basics, the process in solving the problem. So, yun yung requirement. No? So, but of course, pag may namali tayong isa, maapektuhan na din yung results natin for the final. No? But then again, these are all procedural. You'll get used to it. No? As long as you solve many problems, then you get to be familiarized with the process and also yung kung paano yung source ng pagkakamali natin. Again, let's continue going back to this problem. A lot of comments have been made. So solving this RN, tear out, what if we try to solve again? So 1.2, wag ng ratio and proportion because we'll be using 25.5, but then you can use ratio and proportion to shorten the process. So instead of 12, we'll be using 9, then 400. Again, same lang, divide natin ng 1,000. Now, so for this one, problem na, 30 minutes na agad. So we have 110.16. Mas mababa compared dun sa original na 118. And then, yung bolt deformation will be the same, 172.8. And now we have to pick which one will govern. So 110.6 obviously. So again, we have to solve the total bearing. We expect na dito, ito yung mas mababa. Now for bolts B and D, we have to use 172.8 and then 110.16 for bolts B and D. A and C pala to. So tigdala-dalawa yan. So pag madaming bolts, madami din kayong i-multiply. But you have to solve individually, no? Each the capacity. Ganun yung sa final exam ninyo. Single bolts usually yung sinosolve, but to counteract the total bolts, the total force that we need to apply, we just multiply it by the number of bolts. Magkaiba lang yung per bolt capacity nila against bearing. So in total, we have 565.92 K, and hindi na siya per bolt kasi multiply na natin siya ng number of bolts. Excuse, and naubo pa tayo. That's why we can't be able to have a discussion. And now solving for the resistance. So 0.75, 65.92. Okay, so ngayon, we need to pick which will be the design trend that we're going to apply sa system, that we're going to apply for this system. No, so the best way to do, no, para ma-determine natin is to summarize yung mga nakuha natin na values under different limit states. So we start with yielding, the rupture, of bolt shear, and yung bearing for both LRFD and ASD, and then we just select whichever is smallest between those four limit states. So we start with yielding 401.76. Natandaan natin yung mga values. So, lahat ng values ay in kilonewton. 401.76 and 267.8. 305, Rapture 367.2, 244.8, for bolt shear 430.412, 287.142. And now for the bolt bearing, yung gasket plate yung critical, 424.44. And for ASD, 282.96. And almost close yung mga values. And now our goal is to pick whichever of these four limit states are the two different philosophies. So for overall, it is the Rapture. Rapture pa din yung mag-govern because it gave us the smallest between these four limit states. So for Rapture, we have 367 and also nag-reflect dun sa, yun din yung nag-reflect sa ASD, which is the smallest is 244. So all in all, despite considering the bolt shear and then the bearing, it's still the Rapture yung critical between these four. So if you apply sa system ng 400 kilonewton, say for example, ito yung in-apply natin dun sa system, ito yung magiging high stress, no? Yung Rapture yung magkakaroon ng most stress part, no? So, but our goal is dapat bawal tayo mag-apply ng mas mag-i-exceed pa dito sa 367. So, most likely yung kailangan lang natin is na i-apply is 300 kilonewton, 360, mas as long as na less than sa Rapture. Kasi pag nag-apply tayo ng 400, pasado lang siya sa yielding shear bearing, pero hindi na siya pasado sa Rapture. So, we have to pick the smallest between this. So, for this problem, it is the Rapture that is critical and yun yung nag-govern for our design. So, we need to apply a force here, a tensile force, with respect to the Rapture value that we obtain because yun yung critical. Aside, over the other limit states. So, I think that's it. We will try a different problem for this one. How about we try this one? The same bearing type connection. So, for our problem 2, given tayo ng bat joint and there's a load applied which is 300 kilonewton dead load and 500 kilonewton service live load. Then we need to determine the required number of 20 mm. A 3 to 5 bolts in standard holes with threads excluded from the shear planes. Then we assume that deformation at the bolt hole is design consideration. So all plates are ASTM and the standard hole for 20 is 22 mm. So therefore the effective hole will be 20 plus 4, no? Or 22 plus 2. It's just the same. Standard holes yung tawag natin. Para maging effective, we just add 2. But for now, the original diameter of bolts plus 4 or pwede din 22 plus 2. Same lang yan. Standard holes plus 2. So we have 24 mm. And provided na din yung shear. So we'll be using this 4 rows per column of our bolts. So yun yung assumption natin. So for this problem, aalamin lang natin kung ilan yung bolts na kailangan. Given tayo ng 2, no, we'll see, no, if ilan yung kailangan for this one. We'll try first to solve kung ano yung magiging capacity natin for bolts or bearing. So we have 2 limit states that we need to consider. Okay, so for this one, I'd just like to highlight that the reason why we only limit yung limit states natin will only be shear and bearing, and will not be considering the yielding and Rapture since hindi pa natin alam yung number of bolts na kailangan natin. And yung number of bolts natin is doon din nakadepende kung ano yung maging width ng plates. So if kailangan pala natin ng madaming number of bolts like 10, 5 bolts per column, then mas lalaki yung thickness, yung width ng plate natin. So therefore, the yielding and Rapture is not a consideration for this type of problem. So, ang goal lang natin is na ma-solve kung ilan yung number of bolts depending on the shear capacity and bearing capacity of our bolts and also the plates. Now, because we can still solve this problem regardless kung meron tayong B-width. As long as meron tayong spacing, interior and edge, we can solve for the bearing capacity. So, for this one, we are going to stick with 2 layers of column, but yun yung specific, no, constant. Pero yung hindi constant is kung ilan yung number of bolts per layer of columns. Kasi pwede natin lakihan yung width ng nung connection natin, ito, ng plate, pero hindi na natin pwedeng baguhin kung ano yung spacing na provided dito sa problem. So, we'll be focusing on shear and bearing. Okay, so the shearing capacity, we don't know yet. No, so kung ilan yung number of bolts na kailangan. But we have the PU. So, PU, and then also we try to limit it to LRFD condition lang. So, PU 1.2, and then the dead load is 300 plus 1.6. Alright, so ang goal lang natin is equate natin dun sa formula natin for shear. So, we'll try to solve this. 1.2 of 300 plus 1.6 ng 500. Then, we obtain 1160 kilonewton. Okay, so we start with the shear. So, LFD na yung solution. 1160 pi over 4. Okay, so makakalimutan natin yung reduction factor. So, VPN for shear is V times area na bolts times FNB. 0.75 area ng bolts, and then yung number of bolts pala, no? Pi over 4. So, we use the original diameter of the bolts, FNB given sa problem, and then yung number of bolts na required. Ito yung easiest, no? Medyo magiging challenging lang siya if we are going to consider now the bearing. So, let's try to solve this. 0.75, and then we have pi over 4, 20 squared, 457. Then we obtain 10.77. So, ilan yan? And then, kailangan even. So, we'll be using, kasi given na, provided na yung spacing ng mga bolts natin. So, say 11. So, I think we need to have, say, 12. Okay, so mababago pa yung ano natin. Bale, magiging 3 na siya. Ang magiging pag-shear, ang mag-govern, we need 12. Ganyan. So, we also need to provide additional layer para pasok siya dun sa spacing. Okay, so, yan, mali pala tayo. Kasi, etong dalawang column, ito na yung, ano natin, constant, hindi na mabago. Ang pwede natin baguhin for this one is ito, yung width. So, hindi pa natin alam yung width. So, what if ganyan pa din yung kailangan? 2 columns, bale 6, no? Yun pala yung fixed. Ngayon, ang kailangan na lang natin i-design yung width ng plates natin and yung mga spacing dito, which is provided na siya ng code kung ano yung gagawin nating spacing. But for the design of the bearing kasi, ang concern lang naman natin pag meron tayong tensile force dyan, so ang mag-extend lang is eto. Ito yung kailangan ng spacing. So, may mali pa pala sa problem, class, no? Kasi, it is a butt joint. So, kailangan natin i-consider yung pag-double shear. Ito yung masisira. So, double shear, bali meron tayong 2 times n kasi dalawang area. 2AB. No, 2AB. So, 2AB yung kailangan natin i-consider since this is double shear. I hope napansin nyo yun. And then, yan. So, wag natin kalimutan. Kaya pala madami yung nakuha. So, aside from that, kailangan may 2. And so, na-reduce. No? Ang kailangan na lang natin is 5.386 pala. So, C. So, kapag butt joint, pag may nakita kayong ganyan, double shear, i-reduce natin yan. Ito na lang pala yung kailangan. No, 3 for bolt shear. How about for bearing? So, for bearing, hindi pa natin alam kung ilan yung kailangan. But we can solve kung ilan yung number of bolts na required. But we need to solve kung ano yung may mag-govern. So, what if for column 1, check natin kung ano yung kailangan. No? So, bolts for layer 1 or column 1 ng bolts natin. Column 1 bolts, check natin kung tear out yung mag-govern or yung bolt bearing. So, bolt deformation. So, tear out 1.2 LC. LC. Ano yung LC natin? So, column 1, dito yan. Yun yung LC. LC2 yung kailangan natin i-consider. So, we have 50 minus half ng natin, effective, which is 24. And then yung thickness ng bolts natin. Thickness ng plates. So, the thickness of plates is, what is the thickness of the plates? So, we have here, kailangan natin i-consider both. Pag ito yung consider natin, yung upper plates, we need to multiply it by 2 kasi simultaneous siya mag-fill nung bottom plate. So, 12.5 times 2, it's 25. Pag consider natin tong thicker plate, 16 lang siya. Wala na tayong multiply na 2. So, between the two plates, yung upper or lower plates, ang total thickness nila is 25. Compared din sa thicker plate, pero isa lang consider natin. So, this is only 16 mm. So, between these two, we pick the smaller. So, we have 16 mm. And then, FU, 400. Divide natin ng 1,000. 1.2, 50, minus 0.5, 291.84 kilonewton. Then for bolt deformation, formula natin dyan, 2.4 dB. Ano yung dB natin? Original, 20. Thickness, 16. And then 400. Divide yun. Then 2.4. 20 times 16. Huwag niyong kalimutan to. Kasi yung formula na to. So, for bearing, disregard nyo na lang kung double shear. Kasi, it depends on the thickness. It's the contact part, no? So, thickness yung mahalaga dyan. So, hindi siya double area. So, it's only for the shear kung meron tayong double area na kailangan i-consider. So, this one is per bolt muna yung makukuha. Now, we move on to the bolts under column 2 naman. Because for tear out, ang i-consider natin, the spacing, it's itong 18 na, yung interior. But we need to subtract the hole, effective hole diameter, pero isang buo na ngayon. Hindi na siya 0.5 lang. 16 and then 400, divide na lang. And then for bolt deformation, same lang naman yung diameter ng bolts. Formula the same, and also the value that we will obtain will also give us the same value. 307.2 kilonewton. Now for bolts under column 1, along the column 1 line, we pick the smaller. So 291.84. And then column bolts along column 2 or line 2, we pick also the smaller. Yung tear out yung mag-govern. So same condition for bolts along layer 1 and layer 2, tear out yung nag-govern. Okay, so now let's try solving for the number of bolts na required. So we know na 2 columns ng bolts yung kailangan natin i-consider, and we also expect na dapat yung number of bolts nito within columns, within each of the columns, kailangan the same yung number of bolts na ma-solve natin. So for this one, we just try to say na X yung required columns natin per layer ng bolts. So we try to solve for the number of X. What if bearing yung mag-govern, we still use the 1/160 kilonewton. And then using 0.75 as the reduction factor for LRFD under bearing failure, no. And then solve natin. So 3x number of bolts for first layer of column, which we have a 291.84 kilonewton per bolt capacity. The same value of number of bolts for the second layer of our bolts now with 199.68 kilonewton per bolts. And don't forget to multiply by 1,000 kasi naka-kilonewton to. Divide pala ng 1,000 para tama ba or no need na. Kasi naka-kilonewton per volt naman lahat. So tama, kilonewton to, kilonewton per volts, and then kilonewton per volts. Now we solve for x. Yun yung unknown natin. Shift solve na lang yan. Ayan, so at least nakikita natin kung ano yung mga possible na mamamali tayo ng assumptions. Alpha x. Pwede nyo i-factor out yung x. So, yung x natin is 3.146 volts. So, dapat per column, 3.146. Okay, so, ayun. So, mas kailangan, mas madami. So, say 4. In total, per ano lang kasi to per layer. So, we have total of 2 layers na kailangan. So, 4 bolts per layer. So, bali ilan yung kailangan? Times 2. So, 8 bolts. Mas malaki yung, mas mataas yung kailangan. Based sa illustration, mas nag-govern yung bearing kasi kailangan niya ng 8 bolts compared dun sa 6 bolts for shear. Okay, so let's try now. What if meron talaga tayong 8 bolts? Ngayon, ano yung mag-govern? Ano yung PU required? So, what if meron talaga tayong 8 bolts for per layer ng column? Hindi natin gagamitin yung PU required, but we need to solve for the capacity of our section. Okay, so for shear, this is a double shear. So, what will be the PN, which is yun na din yung magiging overall. No? So, PPN, meron tayong 8 bolts. We use 8 bolts in total. So, the A and B, phi, and then F and B, number of bolts. And this is a double shear times 2 na lang. So, 0.75. And what is our A and V? Pi over 4. Area ng bolts natin. 20 squared. F and B, 457. We have total of 8 bolts in consideration. Mataas to, no? Compared dun sa required. 49 kilonewton. So, for shear, ang DC ratio natin dyan is, halimbawa, ang design na required lang is 1/160. And then, for yung shear capacity niya, pag malo tayong bolts, pag mas madami yung bolts, mas mataas din yung shear capacity. 0.849. So, 0.67 yung DC ratio. Now, we'll be using the bearing. Na yung bearing, and then we have for 8 total of 8 bolts and 4 bolts per layer. So, ito yung required, di ba, pag bearing. So, we expect na close dun sa required strength yung capacity natin for bearing. We'll be using the same, no? Same capacity per bolt. So, important na na-solve nyo muna yung capacity per bolt para madali na lang yung sunod, no? 0.75. And then, the nominal capacity per bolt, we have 4 bolts per layer. So, 291.84 plus 4 din dun sa kabilang layer, 199.68. So, 0.75. Wala nang double shear pag mga bearing. So, we obtained 1474, which is medyo higher pa nga dun sa required, no? Okay na yun. Basta ang goal natin is hindi mag-exceed ng 1.0 yung DC ratio. So, bearing, we have DC, 1474. I mean, yung design natin or required is only 1160. And then yung capacity niya is 1474.56. So, important na for design, we pick the higher, no, between the limit stage. So, meaning to say, mas critical yung bearing, no? Kaya nag-require siya ng mas mataas na number of bolts. 0.67 only for shear. We have the same PU na required is 1160. So, for shear, hindi ganong critical. 0.67 lang siya compared dun sa bearing. So, meaning to say, for this one, bearing yung nag-govern. That's why we need to we require a lot of number of bolts para ma-satisfy yung required strength natin. So, bearing yung critical for this one. Pero kapag shear naman yung critical, mas madaming bolts yung magkukuha natin for calculating if shear yung critical for this one. No, kapag malaki kasi yung thickness ng mga bolts ng bearing plate natin, ng plates, about 20 yan, magre-reduce din yung X number. Kasi ito ay lalaki. No, kapag lumaki yung thickness ng bolts ninyo, say for example, naging 20 na siya, so of course, lalaki na din yung capacity niya per bolts. So, gawin natin, for example, kilonewton per bolt, 300. Tapos, dun sa layer 2 ay naging 215 kasi in-increase natin yung thickness. So, ilan na lang yung kailangan. I-equate natin ulit, no? 0.75. Tapos, solve nyo ulit yung X. So, since lumaki na yung mga value na to, i-factor out natin yung X. Divide natin ng higher value ng denominator. We expect na mas liliit na yung X. So, ngayon, nag-govern yung bearing kasi yung thickness natin hindi ganong mataas, no, compared dun sa area ng bolts. So, managtake kayo ng value 3 na lang. Pero almost close pa din siya para mayroon pa din siyang butal. So, bali mag-round up pa din tayo, say 4. So, dapat mga less than 3, like 2.99, para masabi natin exactly 3 bolts lang yung kailangan. Okay, so pwede pa natin i-utilize yung problem. So, ilan yung bolts na kailangan, ilan yung PU na kailangan para ma-utilize talaga natin. So, ito, yung kailangan natin bolts, capacity. Pwede ba siyang umabot ng 1474, 1722? So, what if naman, ang PU na kailangan ay 1,200, ang gagawin nyo lang, babaguhin nyo. Pero same pa din yung capacity. Pero pag sinabi sa problem na use 10 volts, we expect na same parallel outcome, pero iba lang yung values. So, pag 10 volts, mas tataas na yung capacity. So, tataas yung capacity, magre-reduce din yung DC ratio. Mga 0.5 na lang yan or 0.8 something. Pero pag binawasan natin yung volts natin, na mga 6 na lang, 6 volt, tataas din yung mga DC ratio kasi ihina na yung capacity ng bolts natin against shear. No, so lalong-lalo na for bearing. Kasi for bearing nga, ang maximum safe required bolts ay 8 na. Hindi na tayo pwedeng bumaba dun para pumasa. So, I think that's it for our bolted connection. Simple. And then, tomorrow we'll be solving problems regarding eccentric bolted connection. And if we still have time, pwede tayo mag-discuss ng welded connection.